Good afternoon. Today's story is about a real-life, courageous journey of two young brothers who were forced to leave their village of Gutu in Zimbabwe and search for refuge in South Africa. This riveting journey will be recreated through the stories of people who the boys encountered along the way.
Well, I remember back in the village of Gutu, the boys constantly played soccer. They were both very talented, especially Deo. The boys were extremely close to my sister and my father until they were held captive by the soldiers beholding all citizens. After hearing the president had ordered the soldiers to captivate these innocent villagers, they were not supporting him during his re-election. I heard that Deo secretly went back to seek his brother Innocent because the soldiers had captured him. Once Deo finally found his brother Innocent, he hid him so that he could go back and seek his family for relief. When Deo finally arrived, he unfortunately saw the death of my sister and my father. When the incident was televised, I recognized my nephews. However, I was not close to my family, and the boys knew better than to contact me. I was terrified for their well-being, but was constantly nervous of my nephew Innocent because of his unique personality. I always thought he would require too much attention, maintenance, and energy to maintain his lifestyle. My sister would frequently write to me and detail how much Deo took the utmost care of his older brother Innocent. He constantly watched after his safety, and that is just what he did as the two brothers made their way across country to Johannesburg.
The boys used to come around a lot with their mother. Their mother would bring me food and visits, and we used to have long talks. As me and their mother were talking, the boys used to watch football on my TV. I have satellite, so I got to know them pretty well. It was always good to see them. Deo, excellent soccer player, and his brother Innocent, he was different from the other boys, but he really cared for his brother. The day in my village, it was very stressful. I was in the middle of taking down my satellite because we knew the military was coming through to try to find the dissidents. The dissidents were the people who didn't support the president. So I was busy preparing the village. The boys came as I was preparing my house for their arrival, and I saw Deo first, and I could tell that he was scared and that he was trying to be strong. When I saw his brother Innocent, he looked like nothing was happening. He had his radio and he looked happy. So I knew Deo was definitely hiding something. When we had a moment, me and Deo, to talk alone, he told me about the horrible incident in his village. He told me how he was able to just barely escape to find his brother, and when he came back, his entire family, entire village, had been murdered by the military. His poor mother. I invited the boys in for some food to kind of get through this with them and talk about maybe some next steps we can do. As we were eating, I heard a knock at the door. I knew it couldn't be good. I opened it and it was the Green Bombas. The Green Bombas is a youth militia group that recruits other young boys to join them to get the dissidents out of these cities, out of our towns. So as they came in, I told them, no, you need to leave. I did not let them come in, but there was too many of them. They pushed past me, and they started attacking the boys. They started yelling at them, asking them questions, trying to confuse them to get more information out of them, and to possibly recruit them. I could tell that this wasn't going to be good, that they would soon find out who Deo and Innocent really are and where they came from. But all of a sudden, Deo started singing this song. It was a strange song, like something I heard in a dream. something I once remembered, but I couldn't remember it quite well. It was very familiar, but it did something to Innocent. It changed him. It made him animal-like he was possessed. It was frightening, and I could tell the Green Bombers were also frightened, as they left, and they told me, you get those boys out of here, get them out of the city. So after the boys left, I knew I had to tell them that they couldn't stay here, they couldn't stay in this village, they had to go. But I wanted to make sure they were safe. So I talked to a guy I know who does deliveries down to South Africa. I knew he could smuggle them across the border and bring them to safety. Helping the boys escape wasn't easy. I had to talk with a guy I knew who let's just say I trusted him. He's done work like this for me before. He is a delivery driver who helps get people to where they need to go. So I knew he could help me get the boys to safety. I knew a woman down in South Africa named Maya Maria, and she could help the boys with whatever they may need it. She was a woman that I've known for a long time and that was very trusted. So the next morning, I contacted the man, the delivery driver, my contact, and I sent the boys off with them. First I made sure that they had enough money as well as shoes. You cannot get around South Africa without shoes. They will know who you are and where you came from. That was the last time I ever saw them, was saying goodbye to them and loading them into the truck. I wished them the best and told them everything was be alright, but I knew that this would be the last time that I ever saw them.
I heard of the boys because they were playing soccer in the village. But when they came to me, they thought I was a witch. Can you believe that? Me? A witch?
No.
No. Anyway, I felt so sorry for those boys, so I gave them a big discount. But I did take their shoes. When anybody wants to cross over to South Africa, they come and they see me. I help them get across the Limpopo River. It's full of alligators. Very, very dangerous. But I know how to do it. I have my best guy, Lennox, look after those boys and get them all the way across into South Africa and through the wild animal park where they were almost eaten by lions and attacked by hyenas. But they made it through.
Yeah, I met Dale and Innocent while working at the Flying Tomato Farm, where we didn't get paid too well. And I met them. They worked very hard for what they did. They kept to themselves. They were really quiet. Dale loved playing soccer. He was always on the field, and Innocent, his brother, would always cheer him on. I grew to like them, even though I wasn't really attached to too many people. I convinced them to leave to Johannesburg because of one day they got into a little scuffle with the older guys because they're refugees, so they get paid a lot less on the farm. And the older guys get upset because then they get put out of work because they don't have money. They don't get money. They don't get enough paid. So I convinced them to leave, and I would supply a place to stay with my uncle if they paid for my taxi because I didn't have any money because I wasn't getting paid. So I convinced him to leave. We left, but when we got to my uncle's, he was really upset with me that I brought refugees into his home. So he let them stay that night, but early in the morning I left, so I wouldn't run into them anymore because I was ashamed that I promised them something and that didn't happen. Then I haven't seen them since until I saw Dale on TV not too long ago.
Found the boys cold and hungry one morning and decided to take them in. As the boys lived with me, I gave them the responsibility of looking after my kids. It allowed me to work more hours. My kids had a strong bond with Innocent, and I was comfortable leaving them with him. In Alexandria, it was an unstable time. Many people hated foreigners. One day, Dale and I went on a supply run. we were met with an angry mob looking to find, kill, and destroy the city for any refugees. We had to quickly escape the rebels, and my friend, the store owner, was killed. We feared death and hid in a church for the night. The next morning, we rushed home to find Innocent's dead body mixed in a pile of refugee corpses. Deo frantically gathered what little he had. He ran away, and I never saw my friend again.
Happened one day, I was driving and a bag of soccer balls fell out of my truck and I had to go retrieve one from under the bridge. And when I went to do it, there was this young boy kicking the ball real hard up against the wall. And so I asked him for my ball and began talking with him a little bit. And I found, he had an interesting story to tell. I could kind of see the wear and tear on his face, and that like he was battling some demons, and he looked like a boy, a refugee that dealt with a lot of hard issues and prejudices in his life, and so I talked to him for a little bit longer, and I invited him to come try out with us. That was tough for a lot of the team. A lot of these boys and girls are from the streets throughout South Africa. That's why they were selected for this soccer team. And some of them are refugees and some of them were South African. And so there was already tension there. Then I brought this one boy in, Dio, who didn't try out like the rest of them. I just kind of invited him on the team. So they had a lot of reservations about him. Well, as many people know, the Soccer World Cup is happening in South Africa this year. And prior to that, we are having, I'm the coach of the South African street soccer team. And what that is it's played on a smaller field, but we're getting street kids and giving them the chance to play for their country, soccer, the sport that they all love. And it's like a mini World Cup. During the tournament there was a game, in particular the semifinal game, in which afterwards he had confessed that he had seen some of the key people in his life up in the stands. However, those key people that he did see were no longer with us. They had died along his journey. And so I think just deep in his heart he was imagining his family being there.
My first encounter with Deo was when he was introduced to the street soccer team that I was trying out for. I got in trouble because I was staring at him once, but then I stopped because I was supposed to be playing. And he looked timid at first, and I tried to be nice because I knew everyone on the team, so I introduced them. That Saley had us do, and when we finally became a team. We were segregated before because everyone was in either the foreigners or people from South Africa. But once we had the last drill where everyone had to sit down and share their stories, that's when we all came together because we understood each other, we made more connections with each other of where we came from and how we're getting here. And that's when Saley told us that we were all going to be on the South Africa World Cup street soccer team. Since we all aren't from South Africa, Saley had the idea of us foreigners wear armbands of our flags, which is our native country, And so that's the significance of it. So we would show that South Africa, we accept our refugees and we're not segregated with them. Yeah, because we felt like we could all show who we were and who we are to the team and how we can contribute. Once we showed who we are, then people could relate to us and we could actually show that we're united as a team. And since we're not all from South Africa, it doesn't matter. We're all coming together. The night before the tournament, we actually went out. Neither of us could sleep, and so we got up and he wanted to go dig something up. And we went under a freeway next to a pillar, and he said that he wanted to dig out a ball that his grandpa made for him, and his brother's prized possession was a Bix box where he had all of his little handy dandy things that he would play with all day, or he used his whistle like we heard before to scare the hyenas off. And so he felt like he couldn't have that responsibility before to keep that, but now he felt like he wanted it since the tournament was going to be tomorrow. When I first met him in our first game when we were trying out, he seemed really startled when somebody said goal, and I didn't really know why until I asked him later on, and he said that his brother Innocent, who died, used to say goal like that, and so it just reminded him of Innocent and just made him kind of sad. So at the tournament, we kind of went through some rough patches. We won some and we lost some, but we ended up making it to the finals, which we played Brazil, and I don't want to give it away, but Deo said it really well, that it doesn't matter the outcome of the game, it's because we played the game of our life.
Tonight we have heard several accounts about Deo and Innocent's tale of survival. Their story is a powerful reminder about the bond of brotherhood and the human spirit's ability to overcome incredible odds. Thank you for joining us, and good night.